Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Amazing, really. It's an echo in here. So, hope you slept well. And even if you didn't sleep well, it's such good fun being connected to the earth if you're camping. So well done. And staying here is a completely different feel to getting away from here. So I hope you'll enjoy the next 3 days that we have. And we're quite privileged to have a course within the festival. And Swami Sarvapriyananda very kindly said that, yes, of course he'll come and he'll do a course morning and afternoon on all the 3 days. And it's a wonderful piece of text, dÄśya vivēka, that he will announce. And there are some QR codes. The idea is that as the verses are chanted, you may join in if you wish to. It's in Sanskrit. For those of you whose Sanskrit is a little bit poor, there's also a transliteration in English, so you can see how the pronunciation goes. So by do means on the various, on every single board there's a QR code. Do scan that, download it, and then you'll have the text for you. Swamiji has been extremely kind. He's been with us before. This is I think, his third occasion with us. And every time we really do enjoy having him here. And he gives his time so freely. And we're always pleased with that. And he always responds and says, how can he support us? And we're very, very pleased to bring him back. So for you all, here's Swami Sarvapriyananda. Swamiji, and welcome to the festival. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's all yours.
Let me start with a peace chant, and then we'll get into it. Om asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness unto light, lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. It's wonderful to be back here again at the World Yoga Festival. It's beginning to feel like home. I've been giving talks here, but this time Ram suggested, an opening came up and Ram suggested that instead of giving one-off talks, how about doing a full course? And I always prefer that. You know, we can hear talks about Vedanta on various aspects of Vedanta, and they are all useful, they are inspiring. But Vedanta is a knowledge system. So it's always really, the point is always to take away something. There must be a takeaway from the whole course. So traditionally what is done is texts are taught. If you go to the Himalayas where the monks are teaching in the schools in Haridwar, in Uttarkashi, in Rishikesh, and even higher up in Gangotri and other places, small groups, the higher up you get, the smaller and smaller the groups get. There you'll find texts are being taught. It's not one-off talks. It's not individual lectures. I always prefer doing texts. And so this time we're going to have a text, and that's what Ram has arranged for all of us. What we'll do in these sessions is, I'll take up the text which he mentioned, dÄśya vivēka, and there are these codes which you can scan and download the text if you like. It's not absolutely necessary, but one might always want to take a look at what's being taught, and look at it afterwards, after the class also. And those of you like, you can join in the chanting of the text if you have the text. So what we will do is we will study the text, we will do a meditation exercise for some time, and then we will have question answers. All three are important because in Vedanta, the practice is these three. The practice in Vedanta, what do you actually do in Vedanta? Well, you listen to these talks and you study the text, that's one. And that's called Shravanam, hearing. It includes study. And then when we hear, and then we go on to Mananam, that is reasoning about it, thinking about it, pondering upon it. That's the second part of it. That's where the questioning comes in. When I have doubts about it and I ask questions. And then finally there is a meditation. There is dដ្śya, which is the Sanskrit word for non-dual meditation or Vedantic meditation. Each of these three serves a purpose. Hearing, reflection, meditation. Each serves a purpose. Hearing or studying serves the purpose, when we had the question, what do these texts teach us? If I want to know, what do the Upanishads teach us? What does this text, d噚śya, vivēka, what's it saying? And when we do the hearing, when we listen to the classes, when we study the books, then we have an answer to that question. Now I can say, I know what the book is teaching me. When I can say confidently, I know what the text is teaching me, then this is Shravanam, which is the result of hearing. Your hearing is complete, at least for that text. But then, after the hearing is complete, I may have so many questions. I've heard it, I know what the book says, but I don't get it. There are many aspects of it. It's like I've downloaded some information, but I say that I have not understood it. I have not grasped it. So I have so many questions. I don't get it. How am I pure consciousness? What is pure consciousness? What is Brahman? How is this world and appearance? I have so many questions. So then we go into the second stage. The second stage is reflection, the mananam, where we ask these questions, where we try to understand what we have heard. And this stage is complete. I know that this stage is complete when I can honestly say, confidently say, I not only know what the book teaches me, but I also get it. I understand now. In fact, I can give the class. You're out of a job, Swami. I've got it now. I've downloaded the text and I've understood it. So that's the end of the second stage, the stage of reasoning, of cogitation, of questioning. It culminates in understanding. Then why is there a third stage at all? The third stage is because at the end of the second stage, one might still complain. One might still gripe about the fact that, okay, I've understood it, but it doesn't feel real to me. It still feels, people will complain, they say it's intellectual, it's theoretical. And the whole point of spiritual life is to make it a living spirituality, something that we live in life, walk the talk. And that does not feel like it. It just feels like a lot of talk. I remember high in the Himalayas, I met this young monk from Nepal who was meditating a lot. He had a cave and he was sitting in front of the cave and meditating. And we used to talk to each other. So I asked him, what is he practicing? And he says he's doing Patanjali yoga, sitting and trying to attain samadhi. And I have a predilection for the path of knowledge, for Vedanta. So I said to him, that's very good, but what do you think about Vedanta? Do you like Vedanta? Have you studied any Vedanta? And he said, yes. And I'll tell you what he said in Hindi and then translate here. He said, हाँ, लेकिन वो बहुत बात करते हैं, अनुभूति नहीं है उनके पास. They talk a lot. The Vedantins talk a lot. They give lectures and read books and stuff like that, but they don't have the experience. So when we have that complaint that it's not yet real, it's still theoretical, then we have the third stage, d噚śya, which serves the purpose of what Swami Vivekananda called assimilating the knowledge, making it a living knowledge. So staying with what we have understood until it becomes a living knowledge, until we say it's real, it's not theoretical, it's not a philosophy that I've learned from a classroom. It is a philosophy, but it's much more than that. It becomes a living reality for me. It becomes a fact. And once it becomes a fact, the benefits start flowing. We'll get to that. What are the benefits? What's the point of this, all of this? So we have 3 stages. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Now let me put it in the technical language which Vedantins use. Because there are many people who have been studying Vedanta. What I'm saying is a general description in English. But technically what Vedantins say, what are the 3 purposes that these 3 stages serve? There is something called pramanagata samshaya. That means a doubt about the source of knowledge. What's the source of knowledge? These texts. With these texts, our source of knowledge. And there's a doubt about it. What do these texts say? And that doubt is removed when you do hearing. I'm just repeating the same thing 3 times. Hearing, reflection, meditation. A little deeper each time. So now, technically, what purpose does this hearing serve? It removes the doubt about the source of knowledge. That's how it's put in Vedanta philosophy. What's the source of knowledge? These texts. In Sanskrit, pramana. The samshaya means a doubt. The doubts about the source of knowledge. What do these texts tell me? That's removed by hearing. Shravana. Then there is prameyagata samshaya, which is called asambhavana. What do these words mean? The object of knowledge. What are we trying to realize? That I am Atman, I am pure consciousness. Doubts about that. Am I really pure consciousness? Am I not the body? Am I not a limited individual? Am I infinite awareness? This kind of doubt, how am I this infinite awareness? It's not clear to me. The doubt about what this is teaching. What is the teaching? That's the first doubt. And that's removed by hearing. Now we know the teaching. But the doubts about the object of teaching, that I am Brahman, I am Atman, I don't get it. Then that is the second stage. That is removed by mananam, reasoning, questioning. And we'll have that questioning. And then there is what is called viparita bhavana. The third kind of problem. The Sanskrit word viparita bhavana means contrary tendencies. Contrary tendencies. I've heard that I am Brahman, this will tell me. And then I reason it out and I get it. I understand in what sense I am awareness. But I still behave like the same old person. My life still goes on. In America, as they say, you're still the same old dude. You're still the same dude. So yes, I'm still the same dude. How did I get the benefit? What benefit did it do to me? Was my life transformed? It doesn't feel like it. So that contrary tendencies. I still get mad. I still get annoyed. I still get jealous. I still get scared. I still feel anxious. If all those problems are still there, how do I use this knowledge to overcome, transcend these problems? So that's the third stage. Overcoming contrary tendencies by Vedantic meditation until it becomes a reality for me. So, what we have done till now, the methodology. What is the practice here? You know what is the practice in meditation. You sit in this way, you breathe in that way, you close down your eyes and senses, inwardize the mind and so on and so forth. That's the practice in meditation, in yogic meditation. What's the practice in Vedanta? Hearing, reasoning, and then Vedantic meditation. One point here, the Vedantic meditation has to be done in the end, the nididhyasa. You can't start off with Vedantic meditation. The reason being, one must first study this, understand it, and then stay with the understanding. That's Vedantic meditation. Whereas yogic meditation, you just need a good yoga teacher who will give you a series of instructions. You follow that and you can start yogic meditation, varieties of mindfulness. Get the instructions and follow that and you can practice. But this one, we need understanding. It's a meditation on our understanding of what we have got, and then we stay with it. So, study, reflection, meditation. And that's how these sessions are going to be structured. We're going to study for a while, then we're going to do a little bit of, we'll reverse it. We'll do the meditation, or let's do the question answer and then the meditation. Let's follow the traditional method. Yeah. Let's not disturb ourselves with questions after meditation. Let's go away from each session with a calm mind. The meditations are based on this text, which I have adapted. We'll see at the end of the text. All right, 2 more points. One is what exactly is Vedanta, textually speaking, traditionally speaking, and then what's the point of it all? What good does it? What can we expect of it? First of all, what is Vedanta? Many of us, we know that, but just to introduce, since this is an introductory class, the Vedas are the fundamental scriptures, texts of Hinduism. And in these Vedas, you find texts called Upanishads. They're parts of the Vedas, small texts. And these Upanishads contain the highest spiritual, philosophical teachings of the Vedas. The final, in one sense, of the philosophical, the final development of Vedic thought. They are put there in the Upanishads. So in Sanskrit, the word anta means end. So Veda, anta, Vedanta. So Vedanta is Upanishads. The end of the Vedas, the final teachings of the Vedas, the highest teachings of the Vedas is found in the Upanishads. So one definition of Vedanta is Upanishads. The texts called Upanishads are Vedanta. This definition we used to memorize as novices. Vedanta nama Upanishad pramanam. Vedanta is verily the source of spiritual knowledge called the Upanishads. So Upanishads, textual basis of Vedanta. If anybody wants to know, yeah, but what's Vedanta exactly? Which books? Upanishads. But they are the foundation. And all that, there's literally thousands of years of textual development. So you can imagine, vast libraries can be filled with Vedantic texts. Initially in Sanskrit, then in other Indian languages, and now in English and many other world languages, you have these Vedantic texts. After the Upanishads, another text which becomes very important in Vedanta, which is everybody knows, everybody's heard about it, the Bhagavad Gita. The Gita is one text from Hinduism. If you ask, what's one text you take away from Hinduism, which will represent Hinduism, that would be, everybody would say it's the Bhagavad Gita. So the Gita is a text of Vedanta, but it's based on the Upanishads. Because Krishna, when he's teaching Arjuna, many times he's quoting from the Upanishads. And there's another text called the Brahma Sutras, the Sutras of Brahman, which are philosophical reflections on the Upanishads. So these three, the set of Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Brahma Sutras, they constitute the foundation of Vedanta, the textual foundation of Vedanta. So if someone asks, what are the books of Vedanta? Upanishads first and foremost, but also the Gita, and also the Brahma Sutras. And then there are extensive commentaries on this. So when the commentaries start on the Upanishads, on the Brahma Sutra, on the Bhagavad Gita, that's when the schools of Vedanta come. So it becomes complicated at this point. Vedanta is not just one system of thought. There are multiple Vedantas. There are multiple schools of Vedanta. So there is Shankaracharya, about 1200, 1300 years ago. He writes a series of commentaries on the Upanishads, on the Gita, on the Brahma Sutra, all in Sanskrit. And these commentaries, called the dដ្śya, they form the foundation of the non-dual school of Vedanta. And I want to flag that because what we're going to talk about for the rest of this course is the non-dual school of Vedanta. In Sanskrit, Advaita. Dvaita means dual, two. Advaita means not two. The non-dual school of Vedanta. But there were other commentators. We are not concerned with them here, but it's good to know that there were multiple differing schools of thought. There is the Vishishtadvaita of Ramanujacharya. There is the Dvaita Vedanta of Madhvacharya. There is the Shuddhadvaita Vedanta of Vallabhacharya. There is the Dvaitadvaita Vedanta of Nimbarkacharya. There is the Achintya Bheda Bheda of the Gaudiya Vaishnava school. So all of these schools and more, multiple schools of Vedanta, but we are going to restrict ourselves to non-dual Vedanta. And that's partly because it's my home tradition. It's also the tradition of Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati, who inspired Ram and Shonali to start all of this. So it's kind of the home tradition here. Now in this tradition there have been many, many texts. After Shankaracharya, post-Shankara masters over the last 1,000 years. Among the texts is this little text called dředśya vivēka. It literally translates into the discrimination or the discernment between the seer and the seen, the separation of the seer and the seen, analyzing the seer and the seen. This book was written probably, we're not entirely sure, but in all probability about 600 years ago by Vidyaranya Swami, a great post-Shankara master of non-dual Vedanta who lived in the south of India, in the Vijayanagar kingdom. He is better known for his other major work, d噚śya, 15 chapters on Vedanta. dန့śya literally means 15 chapters on Vedanta. This could be just one of those 15. Those 15, that's a much bigger book. This book it's small, handy, cute, and also it has the advantage of getting right down to the point. In fact, the most important verse in this short book, about 46 verses, but about 31 are really taken as the essence of the Vedanta, of this text. So we'll read those 31. Often this book is taught with the first 31 verses. So it gets right down to business. The very first verse which we will study just today, now, that's the most important verse. If you take away nothing else from this course, just take away that first verse. It's the key to Vedanta. The key to all non-dual Vedanta is that first verse, which we will study, understand, and practice today. The rest of it follows very beautifully. So short, it's a very happening text. So instead of waiting slowly, other texts will give you the initial qualifications, boring and off-putting and not very glamorous. You have to be this very ethical, very good person and very disciplined. And when you listen to it, you feel, it's not for me in that case. And then it will tell you, what are the definitions, and then it gets down to the actual teaching. But here, it goes straight to the point, directly to the point. And it's small enough to manage. So that's what we will use for this course today, starting today. Just one more point. What's the point of all of this? What's the purpose of it? In Sanskrit, prayojanam. What are we looking for here? What can we expect? The claims in Vedanta are very high, very, very tremendous claim. The goal of Vedanta is the transcendence of sorrow and the attainment of absolute bliss. Atyantika dukkha nivritti paramananda praptischa. It takes us beyond sorrow, and we'll see how, and then helps us to attain fulfillment, deep, lasting, profound fulfillment. And we will get the benefits of it the more and more we pursue this. All right. Now, before I go any further, a little introduction to how this is special. Some of us know this, but we have preconceptions about religion, about spirituality. And that has to be shaken up a little bit. Otherwise, we won't get the value from this text. We already sort of have an idea what spirituality is. And this is different. And it helps to know how different it is. It's often called the direct path. Nowadays, that's a new term which is used. And the promise is enlightenment instantaneously. Enlightenment effortlessly. And who doesn't want that? Who wants decades and decades? Well, I'm willing to put in the work if it leads me to enlightenment. Decades and decades of practice, maybe lifetimes. I know one teacher who says, isn't working? No. He said, try again. Still isn't working? Nope. Better luck next life. But this one seems to promise instantaneous enlightenment. Who knows? Some of us might get enlightened in this very session itself. Who knows? But how? It's different from the other paths. How is it different? It's important to grasp. Then it works for us if we grasp how it's different. It's often to understand what Vedanta is, it's good to know what it is not. So I'm going to say something what it is not, but I'm not criticizing other approaches. All those approaches are good and valid and beautiful, and we all practice them, and we should continue to practice them. You're asking for trouble if you say after one session of Vedanta, All right, I got it. I'm going to stop meditating. I won't go to the temples anymore. I won't do my practices. You're asking for trouble. So to continue everything, but still know what it is, how is it different from everything else. Let me talk about the different paradigms in spiritual life. One is, we are all familiar with it. Most religions, at least theistic religions, talk about it. In religion, in spirituality, we are told that there is God and there is heaven, there's an afterlife. How do we know all that? This is an epistemological question. How do we know all that? Well, we are told about it in the texts, the teachers tell us, and we believe it. It's a faith-based approach, because in the United States, for example, the word used for religion is faith. What's your faith? Belief. So you start with belief. Religion proceeds on belief, on faith. This is not proceeding on belief or faith. That distinction has to be made very clear. What we are going to do now is different. Yes, the path of faith, deep faith in God, is beautiful, powerful, and if we have it, it's really good. It's really good. But the only problem with it is it can be challenged. And right here you have Richard Dawkins in England, and Christopher Hitchens, bless his sainted heart, and so many others. The modern atheists, and there always have been skeptics and atheists, and they have always attacked the path of faith. They have always attacked this faith paradigm, belief-based paradigm. It's easy to attack. It's easy to attack. If they ask for proof, show me. You can't, because you're believing in it. And it's not that it's belief all throughout. Yes, in the end, you will realize what it is. Maybe after death, you meet God, you find out. Maybe that will happen at the end of things. But right now, it's based on belief. There is another path in contrast to this, which one might call the path of mystical experience. You sit in this way and you meditate in this way. Maybe your kundalini is awakened. You have these extraordinary experiences. I like to call it the yogic way, the mystical way. That is much more empirical. That's not a path of faith in the sense that proof is given to us. You practice in this way, you will get the proof. You will get the proof of the claims. You will see in your own experience. We will experience it in our own lives. As Vivekananda said, if God exists, I should be able to see God. If I have an immortal soul, I should be able to feel it. So actual experience of God, actual experience of the claims of spirituality. And that's great. But this is not that either. This is something more than that. In that path, in the path of mystical experience, the problem will be, if there's a problem, if you're going to be a little skeptical about it, is that one might doubt it. Why does one doubt it? Because it's not a common experience. Right now, I am sitting in front of you. All of you would generally agree, yes, there is this orange guy sitting in front of us. It's common experience. But if anybody says, I'm seeing God on the stage, I'm seeing a vision of the Divine Mother on the stage here, the rest of us would doubt it because we don't see it. That's why mystics of all ages in all religions have been doubted. The first reaction to mystics has been that they're crazy. Sri Ramakrishna used to have these visions of Kali. The problem is that when you see the people around, none of them were having it. So they see Sri Ramakrishna talking to Kali, but they are not seeing Kali. So one can doubt it. And Sri Ramakrishna in his own time, many people thought he was the mad priest of the Kali temple of Dakshineshwar, So mystics have always been doubted. And in the modern age, people will not be rude enough to say you're crazy, but they'll say that, we don't doubt that you are seeing it, but that doesn't really mean you're seeing it. It's just a little clot in your brain, on the left side of your brain, and there's a little hemorrhage there, and there's a little pressure building up on certain neurons, and that makes you see things and hallucinate. Yes, you are seeing things, but it's not real what you're seeing. It's a neurological problem, and that's what they'll say. Or if you are in Manhattan in Central Park after 5 p.m., it's weed. You are high. One of our early Swamis, Ashokanandaji, in Berkeley, at the time the hippie movement was starting, in the 1960s, 70s. And he said, Berkeley, blessed place, an avatar on every street corner. So people are high and they see things and they believe in things. Now, that does not mean that the yogi is seeing things and hallucinating. Not at all. There are genuine mystical experiences, but they're difficult to distinguish for lay people from a distance between that and hallucinogenic experiences or other or pathological experiences and other experiences. There are ways of distinguishing. But anyway, it can be doubted. And they have been doubted, these mystical experiences. On the other hand, in contrast to these approaches, the way of belief and the way of special experience, we have this approach, the way of knowledge, which we are going to do now. It's not a question of belief. It's more a question of understanding. It's not, the teacher will not say, so do you get it? And you say that, I don't get it, but I believe you. You are a nice guy, I believe you. No, that's not what I want. I want us to get it. I want to see for ourselves that it's a fact. So it's not a way of faith, it's a way of knowledge. It's also not a way of mystical experiences, although one may have mystical experiences along the way. It's not a way of mystical experiences. It does not depend on mystical experiences. What it does is, it uses our day-to-day experience, the experience of seer and seen. I'm getting a lot of special effects here. The mystical experience. The very fact that you are seeing me, you are there and you're seeing me, and that nobody can deny that. Yes, I see things here, I'm seeing. That's enough for us to start this path. The fact that here is a body, and I breathe, and I have a mind, which is obvious to me, to anybody, that's enough. You don't need anything more than that to start this path. Or the experience of being awake, of sleeping, of dreaming, everybody has these experiences, and that's enough to start this path. So this is the path based on reason and our quotidian experience, our daily experience, what's always available to us, which cannot be doubted. And it's especially for this reason that a lot of modern philosophers and scientists are particularly interested in this path. If you talk about, I believe in God in such and such form, and go to Cambridge or Oxford here, you'd be laughed out in no time at all. And if you say, I meditated and experienced, had this vision, they might take you a little more seriously, but not too much. But when you argue just in pure philosophical terms, in reason, then it's very difficult to reject. I remember I talked with this person, she was a neuroscientist from England, on a plane. And she said, what is it that you teach or believe? I talked about Vedanta. And afterwards, her reaction was, and she was very, very sharp. She got what was being said. Afterwards, her reaction was, I cannot refute your argument, Swami, or I'm not convinced. Your arguments are watertight. And that's all we ask. So if I hear the arguments and I know that I have to accept these arguments, after that, if I don't accept it, that's on me. So this is the path which is based on reason and daily experience and regular experience. Okay. Now we are going to start this text. We're going to dive into the text. I'll chant the first verse in the dředśya vivēka. And those of you who want, you can chant after me. And then I'll translate, and then we'll explain things, and then we'll go into Q&A. All right. Verse number 1. Rupam drishyam lochanam drik. Rupam drishyam lochanam drik. Let's try that again. Rupam drishyam lochanam drik. Rupam drishyam lochanam drik. Tadrishyam driktu manasam. Tadrishyam driktu manasam. Drishyadhivrittaya sakshi. drishyadhivrittaya sakshi drigeva natu drishyate drigeva natu drishyate. What does it mean? Forms are seen and the eyes are the seer. The eyes are perceived and the mind is the seer. The mind is seen, quote unquote seen, and the witness consciousness is the seer. The witness consciousness is never seen. I can see some of you looking, wait, what? Let me repeat that again. Things are seen by the eyes. The eyes themselves are known, felt by the mind. And the mind, you're aware of thoughts, feelings, emotions, etc. They're aware by consciousness, to consciousness, they're presented to consciousness. That witness consciousness is never an object of experience. It's never objectified. That's all it says. And now we need to unpack it. One thing useful here in Vedanta, it's a remarkable thing, very simple but remarkable. Let's keep it in mind. Vedanta never strays from actual experience, which is surprising because in Vedanta we seem to be talking about airy abstractions. It seems very speculative, very metaphysical, but no. The interesting thing about Vedanta, and only Vedanta in all religious spiritual paths, only Vedanta does not stray from our actual experience. What do I mean by that? Whatever we are talking about in Vedanta is directly experienceable by all of us right now. Till the very end. From the beginning, which will start at the beginning, till the very last claim, which is that we are pure consciousness, is directly a part of our experience right now. Which you cannot say in other paths. You cannot say, suppose you're teaching in the path of devotion, God is there in heaven, in whichever religion, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism. Well, neither heaven nor God is a matter of fact, right? A matter of experience right now. It's a fact, but it's not a matter of experience for us right now. You can't show it, and you don't experience it now unless you are a very blessed. The rest of us, we don't. So it's not a fact of experience right now. Even in the path, this mystical path of yoga, Kundalini yoga, multiple mystical paths, those will be facts of experience for those committed yogis who practice for a long time and then get those experiences. At that time also they will be peculiar to those people and not to others. Others won't have it. But what we are talking about, what we are going to talk about in Vedanta is always a fact of experience. Let me make it even more precise. As one monk explained it so cutely and beautifully. He said, when you ask a child for the meaning of a word, you ask the child, what's a nose? The child does not say, it is the organ of respiration and the organ of smell. No. The child does not deal in words. The child will say, nose, this. This is a nose. This is a nose. In Vedanta, you have to be childlike. Not childish, childlike. So in Vedanta, when we use these words, at all times, this is the nose. When we say the forms are seen, look, see, here are the forms. The eyes are the seer. Okay, here are the eyes. Not theoretically. Not that, okay, I get it, the organ of vision sees the objects of vision. No, not like that. Here is the objects of vision. Here is color and shape and people and tents and sky and earth. Here is it. Just like this, nose. And then the eyes are seeing, here are the eyes. Just like that, nose. The mind is the knower of the eyes. Now it becomes subtle, but it's still available to you. I can't catch hold of the mind like this. But you can, all of us can. We know what is meant by the mind. Thoughts, emotions, feelings, ideas, which we all have. Right now we have it. We have memories. We have the sense of ego. We have the intellect. We have emotions, perceptions. All of this is mind. Right now, just like nose, catch hold of it. That's the mind. And in this way we will go until we make an extraordinary discovery about ourselves, what we are. That's what Vedanta does. And that's how Vedanta is a journey of self-discovery. and here and now, right now. What we are looking for is present right now. It's like a treasure hunt. I went to this beautiful gardens yesterday, Waterperry Gardens, and the head gardener there, to make it friendly to kids, he has got these cute wooden owls. There's an owl hunt. So little kids go around, their clues, and you find these owls. And you actually find them, here is an owl. Similarly, the owl we are looking for is our real nature. It's like a treasure hunt, and it's available right now. If a thing is available now, if a thing is here, and it is you, then why should you not be able to find it? The only reason that we don't know it now, that we feel it's mysterious, we don't really know it, we don't really feel it, it's not because it's hidden from us, because it's here. It's now. It is you. It is the only veil is ignorance. We don't know about it. It has not been pointed out to us. And what Vedanta does is simply that. It points something out to us. Something as simple as, look, here, or even more clearly, nose. Yeah. So that's what it's going to do. Point out something always available to us. Just have to attend to it. Let me make it a little more broad. One of the monks said this way, the reason why we are not enlightened right now, 3 things. One is we don't know about it. That's the core reason, the ignorance. So knowledge will solve that problem. Now we know about it. But also another reason is our minds are so restless that they don't settle down on it. Restless mind is a problem. And a third reason also is, unfortunately, sadly, poignantly, is that we don't want it. We don't want it. We are not interested. There's something mysterious which keeps us embroiled in the world, in the object, in the other. This world, this body, in everything except our real nature. To the extent that we have forgotten our real nature. It's completely out of our sight. So, 3 problems. I'm not really interested. That's problem number 1. Or I'm interested, but I'm too fickle, too restless. Mind is flickering too much. Minds are too much with this. The Upanishads say our minds are exteriorized. We see the outside, we do not see the inner self. Now we don't even see the outside. We are mostly on this. So our minds are too restless. That's the second problem. And the third and the core problem is ignorance. We don't know what it is. We have never been introduced. Nobody ever told us. So what the Vedanta does is, it tells us what we are, shows us. But what yoga does very beautifully is, it calms down the mind, the system and the mind. And what bhakti and ethics and high living, noble living does is, it takes our mind away from superficialities and directs us towards the nobler ends of life. So the 3 problems, I don't want it or I'm not interested, that has to be removed. I really want it. I really, really want it. Then it becomes easier to focus the mind. The restless mind becomes focused. And when I want it and my mind is focused, then it becomes easier to grasp this knowledge. So 3 kinds of problems: not wanting, restless mind, ignorant mind. Solved by 3 approaches. Ignorant mind is solved by knowledge, way of knowledge, which we'll do now. This is the core thing. The restless mind, restlessness is cured by focus through meditation, mindfulness meditation, various kinds of meditation. The common thing about all kinds of meditation is they train our power of attention. And then finally, the broader religious and moral life, which trains us to rise above the mundane, vain pursuits. The imitation of Christ, starts with the first line. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity, except to love God. So, turning our mind to the highest pursuit in human life. All right. Now, we will enter into this, the first verse. What it does for us, it's basically a pointer. It's telling us what we are. It's showing us what we are. And there is a way in which it is showing us. We must walk together, metaphorically. It's in 4 stages. And there is an operating principle here. The operating principle is, whatever you see, whatever you know, is not you. Whatever we know is an object, and I am the knower. The knower, the subject and the object are different. The seer and the seen are different. I am seeing. But notice one thing. The eyes which see, in a very naive, straightforward way, the eyes which see are distinct from the objects that they see. In fact, the only thing that the eyes cannot see are the eyes themselves. Isn't it a fact? You say, Swami, have you heard of a mirror? You can see your eyes there. If you like, I can show you your eyes. No, but that's a reflection of your eyes. You don't, the way the eyes are seeing directly now, that way the eyes cannot see themselves directly. You can reflect your eyes in a mirror and see your eyes. You can take a selfie and see your eyes, a picture of your eyes. But the eyes cannot see themselves directly. This in philosophy is called the problem of self-reflexivity. A thing cannot operate on itself. A knife cannot cut itself. That which gives you a particular kind of knowledge cannot operate on itself. So the eyes cannot see themselves. The knower cannot know itself directly. Whatever you know is an object. You are the subject. The subject and object are different. Keep this in mind. We will abandon this later on, but keep this in mind for the time being. This is what we're going to use now. 4 stages. Stage 1. Eyes are the seer, the objects are seen. Forms are seen. Forms here means color, shape, whatever. Literally it means color, but also colors and shapes. What we are seeing are colors and shapes, and depth perception also. So they are all seen, the eyes are the seer. Notice one thing, the eyes are different. By different, I mean physically different. They're 2 separate things. Eyes are different from the objects that the eyes see. 1 observation. 2nd observation, the same eyes see a variety of things. The same eyes. I can see people, I can see the sky, I can see the forest out there, I can see the blue sky, I can see the green grass, I can see the red carpet. Same eyes. The eyes haven't changed. The object which you see changes. So the subject remaining the same, the objects keep changing. The objects are many, subject is 1. The objects keep changing, and the subject remains unchanged. The eyes remaining unchanged, the objects of vision are changing. The eyes remaining the same, the objects of vision are many, many, many. So we have 3 observations. The eyes are different from what they see physically. 1. The eyes are the same, what the eyes see are many. And the eyes do not change, relatively speaking. And the objects of vision are changing. 3 observations. You might say, yeah, that's obvious. You're just belaboring the obvious. Move on. Yes. There's the beauty of Vedanta. It starts with what seems absolutely obvious. Nobody has any objection to it. And then it ends up with something dramatic, and we will all go, wait, what did you just say? This is stage 1. Most obvious. Nobody has any objection to it. But always remember this, nose. When we have said all this, don't just keep it in the head. Locate it in the real world and say, yes, it's a fact. It's a fact. Otherwise, at one point, most people will say, but this is all nice theory. It isn't. That's the brilliant thing about it. It isn't theory. It's theory, but it's also, at the same time, straightforward fact. All right. Let's move on to the second stage. Consider the eyes themselves. And by the way, if you know what's happening under the hood, what's going on here, our attention is being directed from the outside to the inside. Inside does not mean physically inside. Inner to our experience of life. And if you understand the philosophical word phenomenology, phenomenologically interiorized. Inwardized. So, our attention is now drawn to the eyes themselves, the organ of vision. I notice the eyes. The eyes are understood, acknowledged, experienced by the mind. Whatever the mind is, I am aware of my eyes. The eyes are open, eyes are closed, the eyes see very clearly, or I need glasses to see. All of these are understood by the mind. The object of knowledge is the eyes, and the instrument of knowledge is the mind. Okay. Now again notice the first point. The mind and the eyes are different. They're distinct. Whatever the eyes are, here are the eyes. Yeah? Like nose, eyes. And the mind, very different. Second, it is the same mind which cognizes not only the eyes, but also the other organs of vision. The skin, the nose, the taste, the ears. All of them dump their information into the mind. The auditory, the visual, the olfactory, gustatory, all of them, tactile, all of that information is dumped into the mind. The same mind, variety of organs of experience, of knowledge. And the mind in its own place experiences the changes in these organs. I remember when I had 20/20 vision, and now I see my eyes need glasses. So the changes are also experienced by the same relatively unchanging mind. The mind is changing, but mind is changing into more mind, thoughts into thoughts. This is the second stage. Now we are in the mind and observing the eyes and other organs of vision. What about the world, which we were observing earlier? That remains separate from us. Now I'm looking at the mind and the eyes. The mind and the eyes are separate. The body with all its senses is separate from the mind which is the observer of this body and the senses. Stage 2. Let's go deeper. Stage 3. Consider the mind itself. What do I mean by the mind? Just look inside. All of us, except the few zombies amongst us, all of us have minds. And we think, we remember, we desire, we hate, we are anxious, we have a sense of ego, we understand. So we have intellects, we have memories, we have emotions, we have the sense of ego. All of this is mind. So the mind there. Catch it by yourself, just like nose, like that. This is the mind. This is what he's talking about. Okay, this is my mind. But I'm aware of the mind. When I'm happy, I know that I'm happy. I'm reminded of, I was walking in Central Park in Manhattan, and there's little kids, and there was a lady taking care of them, and she was singing this song. When you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. I was thinking that's very deep philosophy, actually. If you're happy and you know it, that means dÄśya vivēka would say, you're doing very deep philosophy. You're aware of your mind. If you know that you're happy, then you are the knower of happiness. You are the knower of your mind. Then you must be different from your mind. The knower and the known are different. The seer and the seen are different. You cannot be the mind in that case. So they're teaching very deep non-duality to the little kids. When you're happy, you know you're happy. If you don't know you're happy, see, you can't just say, I'm so happy, but I can't feel it. That's ridiculous. When I'm happy, I feel happy. When I'm in pain, I feel pain. So I am aware of these states of pain and pleasure and happiness and boredom and excitement. I'm aware of the waking and the dreaming. All of these states of the mind are presented to me. What am I? I am aware. This much is clearly sure. I'm sure. I'm aware of the mind. So let's just give that a name. Witness consciousness. That's the name which is given here. Sakshi. Just a fancy name to yourself. Witness consciousness. What is this witness consciousness? That which is aware of the mind. And through the mind, the senses. And through the mind and the senses, the world. Again, just consider it. This is where it gets a little dicey. Can you do this? Nose. Can you do this? Here is the world, okay? Here are the eyes which see the world, okay? And blink the eyes. Here is the mind which noticed the blinking of the eyes. And the mind thinking about the eyes is also experienced by me. And I am being called witness consciousness. It's not very difficult. But one must feel it intuitively that, yeah, it's a fact. Just as this is a fact, the mind is a fact, I am awareness is also a fact. This is called witness consciousness, that which illumines the contents of the mind. And the claim here is, this is always there. This is always there. It's because this witness consciousness is there that I'm aware of the mind, and in fact, indeed, anything else. Let's repeat the three observations. Observation 1, the knower and the known, the seer and the seen must be different. Then I, the knower of the mind, I, the witness of the mind, whatever I am, that must be different from the mind. Just as this is an object, this is water, and it says, still water. It's a water for a monk. It's very still. We will be like still water very soon in meditation. This is an object. And this is presented to me. As this is clearly a thing separate from the eyes are separate from the mind is separate, distinct from me, the awareness. And I am aware of the mind, the eyes, through the eyes and the mind, this object. And is this not a fact? A simplistic description of how we know things at all in this life. So I, the witness consciousness, am distinct from the mind. I, the same witness consciousness, am aware of the various contents of my mind. Perception, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, same witness consciousness. Thinking, remembering, enjoying, hating, desiring, same witness consciousness. Waking, dreaming, sleeping, same witness consciousness. So the same witness consciousness aware of the various states of the mind, and also unchanging witness consciousness aware of changing states of the mind. 3 observations. The seer and seen are distinct. Seer is one, the seen are many. The seer is unchanging, the seen are ever-changing. All 3 apply to you, the witness consciousness. And just by the way, a little observation here. In all spiritual gatherings, there'll always be a question. You know, I've been doing this practice for a long time, but my mind is still restless and I don't seem to be having much effect. I'm still the same person. I still get upset. I suffer from fear or from anxiety. And the question seems to be, if I've been so spiritual, why am I not becoming a better person? So spiritual people have double problems. Worldly people have worldly problems. Money, relationships, and parking. At least you don't have a parking problem here. But in London and in New York, you have parking problems. These are worldly problems. The worldly people have worldly problems. Spiritual people have worldly problems plus spiritual problems. There is no parking. It's awful. That's the worldly problem. And the reaction. But why did my spiritual mind, meditative mind, why is it getting upset and annoyed? That's too bad. My meditation is not working. That's a spiritual problem. So you're worse off before you started meditating. But now, why am I bringing this up? There's a monk, very, very humorous Swami, who makes the most profound observations with a touch of humor. Anubhavananda Saraswati. He's called the Smiling Swami. So he said, do you notice that it is a sign of spiritual progress when you make these complaints? Now you'll understand. From the seer and the seen, it makes it a serious point. When we are complaining about the world, where are you sitting? You're sitting in the senses and in the mind. It's the mind and the senses which watch the world. Why did that person behave nastily to me? How rude. How awful these people are. Or as Americans would say, ain't it so bad? Yeah. When you say, ain't it so bad, with complaining about the world, we are sitting in the mind and the senses. But when we are complaining about the mind, why is my mind angry? Why is my mind anxious? Why is my mind still grasping or greedy or jealous? I am now sitting where? I am sitting in the witness consciousness and watching the mind. And I am saying, why isn't my mind a little better? I am not so much worried about other people or things in the world. Why isn't my mind calmer? Why isn't my mind less selfish? Why isn't my mind more full of love? And that's a sign of spiritual progress. It is a spiritual seeker who's worried about the state of his or her mind. It's the worldly person who's more worried about other people, more concerned with things in the world. So anyway, this is the third stage. I am the witness consciousness, and I illumine the states of the mind. The Upanishad says, Katha Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad. I'll just recite the original Sanskrit and then translate it. Beautiful poetry. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. That shining, everything else shines. You shining, everything else shines. By its light, everything here is lit up. By your light, everything here is lit up. By your light, I am translating. The original mantra says, by the light of that, everything here is lit up. That shining, everything here shines. That shining means that awareness, that witness consciousness. Just do this thought experiment. You're looking at the world. Are you aware? Yes. Close your eyes. Right now, try it. You're not seeing the world anymore. Are you still aware? Yes. Aware of thoughts. Suppose all thoughts shut down. No thinking, no remembering, no enjoying, no suffering. Just still. Thoughts have shut down. You're not aware of the world. No external awareness, no internal awareness, but awareness is still there. You're still there. You're aware. Now gently open the eyes. If that awareness was not there, would you be aware of the mind or the senses of the world? Nothing. If it was at all possible for that awareness not to be there, world experience, life experience, everything would disappear into the void immediately. That shining, everything here is, everything else shines. You shining, the mind shines, and the eyes and the ears and sense organs shine, and then the world is revealed. By your light, everything here is revealed. That is the witness consciousness. Great. Somebody will say, that's really wonderful. How do I know this witness consciousness? That's what we do, grasp. How do I know this witness consciousness? And the next answer is stunning and a little bit disappointing. The fourth stage, it says, dṛgeva natu dṛśyate. The witness consciousness is never objectified, is never known. The Atman, pure consciousness, is never known. At this point, we might think, oh, really? Why did you have this class at all? Why did you call us? You should have told us at the beginning, we can't, the path of knowledge, it ends with not knowing anything. No. What it means is that you cannot objectify yourselves. We never become an object to ourselves. The world is an object to the senses, eyes and other senses. The eyes and other senses are objects to the mind. The mind with its contents is an object to consciousness, the witness consciousness. The witness consciousness is not an object to anything else. It is the final subject. It is the ultimate light of all things. The light that lights up all experiences. We have, most of us must have come across the beautiful 10th man story, where 10 friends cross a river, and then after crossing the river, they think, did everybody cross or did somebody drown? Let's count. And one of them counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That can't be right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my God, the 10th person is drowned. And the other person says, no, let me count. And they all count and they find 9. Obviously, they're not counting themselves. And then a wise person comes along and says, why are you crying, my friends? Oh, sir, our friend drowned and died. How do you know? Well, there are only 9 of us. There were 10 at the beginning of the journey, and we crossed this river. You see, ignorance then followed by error. In the Sanskrit word is called dដ្śya, superimposition. I do not know of the existence of the 10th person. Somehow, I don't know. And then it follows in my mind that the 10th person drowned in the river and died. Nothing of the sort has happened. Then this man who must have counted and seen, there were 10 of them, he says, don't cry. The 10th person is there. That's when the guru comes and the text comes and tells us that you are immortal consciousness, that you are free, and you are Brahman, Atman, whatever, it's there. And their reaction is, where? Where is the 10th person? Well, relax, I'll show you. And he says, count. Well, we have counted. Well, humor me, count again. And so they count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I told you, 9. And this man comes and takes the hand of the counter and turns it around and says, 10. You are the 10th. Dashamastvamasi in Sanskrit, you are the 10th. And this man goes, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I found the 10th person. And the others say, let me try. And they all try, and they find the 10th person, and they're all happy. The 10th person cannot be objectified. You can't find the 10th person out there. Drigeva natu drishyate. The witness consciousness is not something out there. But that does not mean that the 10th person doesn't exist. That does not mean that the 10th person is something abstract or far away. No, the 10th person is closer than the closest. It's you. I remember yesterday we went to this school of practical philosophy in Waterperry Gardens. And in the house there, they have these beautiful frescoes. If you go into the frescoes, there's a fresco of the big wall, a full wall depicting the 10-person story. And those people are weeping and wailing, and there's a river, they're counting, and they can't find the 10th person. And so the same story. But the trick in the painting, the fresco, is that there are actually 9 persons there. And you, the one watching the painting, you are the 10th. If you watch it and you say, oh, this is the story, I know the story. But then at one point it'll strike you, hey, wait a minute, there are actually 9 persons. They're right, the 10th person must have drowned. No. It's very cleverly done. You are the 10th person, the one watching the painting. And that's true here also. What we have to do is start with the world, come to our senses, and then come to the mind, come to the witness consciousness, but do not try to grasp the witness consciousness as something out there. It's not like the world. It's not like something that we see, hear, smell, taste, touch. It's not even like the mind, which is something we can think and remember and feel. No, it is that which is aware of everything. It's unlike everything else. Why is it that the 10th person did not find the 10th person? Because he was counting everybody else except himself. But then why was he counting everybody else? Why was the 10th person not counting himself? For a very good reason. Because where had he found those 9 persons? Outside. So he had a very good reason to think that the 10th person should also be outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the 10th guy should be there. He's not there. All our knowledge till now has been an object to consciousness. All our knowledge, including so-called psychological knowledge, that's also object to consciousness. Minds are also an object to consciousness. As much as this is an object, this is the mind, the thoughts, also object. Consciousness itself, as the pure subject, is something that we have never considered. That's why we keep on exteriorizing. And it's sort of inevitable for us. We will try to grasp this beautiful new concept. The Swami taught us, dředśya, vivēka taught us. I am the witness consciousness. Now I'm trying to get hold of the witness consciousness. You'll never get it. Because you are it. So to dissuade us from this objectifying tendency, and this is done, that you are not an object. You're not, and it's a beautiful thing, because you're not a thing. You're not like this. You're the knower of this. All right. Now, we will do some Q&A, and then a meditation technique based on this, to appreciate ourselves as the witness consciousness. Now, what we'll do is for Q&A, there is a microphone to my left here. And those who want to ask questions, remember, this is the second stage of the study. If it's absolutely clear, you should say that, all right, I'm enlightened, I'm done. I'm not coming back for the afternoon session. If it's not absolutely clear, one should ask questions. And then we will go on to come on, don't be shy. Come here, ask your questions, and then we will go into the meditation session. Silence can only mean two things, one of two things. One is, it was so clear, Swami, I have no more questions at all. Or, what was this guy talking about? I don't get it at all. Come here. There's a microphone to my left. Yes, come. Tell us your name and ask the question.
Namaskar, Swamiji. I'm Ankit, and I have this question that, okay, we are this consciousness,
Yes.
but that experience will also die with death. If it's, why it doesn't say if that's the real, even after death, why that experience also disappears with it?
Yes, I am aware. But you can do all of this. The eyes are the seer, the mind is the seer of the eyes, I am consciousness, aware of the mind. All this fancy talk will be over the moment the body dies, the brain dies, the nervous system dies. The doctors will tell you, that's it, lights out. Lights out. None of your fancy consciousness talk after that. But only if, this is assuming something very questionable, that the brain is the producer of consciousness. So you're tempting me because you brought me to my favorite subject, the hard problem of consciousness. Does the brain produce consciousness? It seemed to be the mainstream wisdom until recently, until the last 20, 25 years or so. People just in the sciences, in biology, in physiology, people just assumed that here's the brain, it's correlated with our consciousness, our conscious experiences. So somehow it's producing consciousness. We don't know how, but eventually we'll get around to it. But when we are now trying to get around to it and trying to understand how the brain produces consciousness, we are stunned to see we can't explain it. Neuroscientists, doctors, biologists, brain scientists, they're puzzled about how to, consciousness studies experts, puzzled about how the brain produces consciousness. Does it produce consciousness? What do you see when you look at the brain? When you examine the brain with the latest, most sophisticated scanning instruments, you see bursts, tiny bursts of electrical activity in the neurons. That's the last thing, the most subtle thing that one can see when scanning the brain. What is the connection between those little bits of electrical activity and your seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting, enjoying and suffering and philosophy and Vedanta and yoga, the blue sky which you experience, the green grass which you experience? How is it little bursts of electricity? Where is the connect? This is called the explanatory gap. In neuroscience, not in Vedanta, in neuroscience, it's called the explanatory gap. We are unable to see, another way is David Chalmers, who coined the term hard problem of consciousness. You should look him up. He's one of the leading philosophers of mind in the world. He's one of the leading philosophers in the world today, straight away, and definitely maybe the leading philosopher of mind in the world. He coined the term the hard problem of consciousness. He says, look, everything has a certain physical nature, table, chair, body. Nothing has a dual nature, physical and also internal, subjective, except the brain. We are claiming only the brain is such a physical thing, which has a physical nature. It's made of organic matter and it has certain chemical properties and all of that. But also it has an internal nature. It is somehow conscious. How? Why only the brain among all such things in the world? And where is the gap? Where is the explanation? Where is the link between little electrical activity in the neurons and our vivid conscious experience of life, which we are having, all of us, all the time, including the neuroscientists? No explanation. Now the possibility arises, maybe the brain is not the source of consciousness. It's implicated in consciousness. Maybe it's an instrument. As somebody said, it's like saying, a brain produces consciousness is like saying, you walked in through those doors into the tent. Now if I say, those doors are amazing things, they produce so many people, All these people are emerging from the doors, and then the door absorbs all those people. No, it's just an instrument, an entrance into the tent. You existed before you entered the doors. You exist in the tent, and you will continue to exist after you exit from the tent. So the claim might be, the possibility is that consciousness exists even before the birth of the body and the brain, and will continue to exist even after the death of the body and the brain. That is in fact the claim. If it was that all of this is just fancy talk and when we die it's all gone, it wouldn't be very important in that case. But in fact, the claim of not only Vedanta, of all religion, Vedanta, Yoga, Bhakti, Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, the claim of all religions across time, one common claim is that we exist after death. That's one common claim. Think about it. And now, if you could prove that the brain produced consciousness, there's no consciousness without the brain, and only with the brain there's consciousness, then there would be some merit in the claim. But no, they're unable to do that. Let me take a different angle. I'll just make one more observation. And then we'll move on. This observation is this. Now we are entering the age of AI, artificial intelligence. And one question is AI conscious? Does AI have feelings? Or is AI aware of itself? And the answer is no. AI is not aware. It's not aware of itself, not aware of others, not aware of anything else. You might say, how do you know that? Well, ask the experts. Ask the experts, the people who are designing and working on AI. They're working on everything, like even the AI is now creative. It can write short stories and poems, and there are AIs which can paint pictures for you and all of that. I went to the Museum of Modern Art in Manhattan, and when you enter, there's a big screen. It's art, but it's art by AI. So all the modern art in the museum has been fed into this AI, and the AI has been asked to generate similar art. And it's continuously, on a continuous basis, it's generating that art on that screen. It's haunting. If you ask, is it art? There will be two answers. One answer is, from the perspective of the AI, it's not art, because AI is it's running algorithms and replicating things, based on the information which has been fed into it. It's not doing anything consciously there. And you can't think of art without consciousness, without being aware. What kind of an artist is a brain-dead artist? In coma? No. You're conscious. When you're producing art, you're conscious. But it is art from another aspect, from the aspect of the people who are watching it. I saw people, me too, and others who watched that display. It was haunting. We were transfixed for a couple of minutes. It has an effect on us. This AI is not conscious. Now, my question here is, why not? If it can be creative, if it can do art, if it can write poems, if it can write stories, if it can do your, to the horror of teachers everywhere across the world, your assignments, your homework. Why is it so difficult to make AI conscious? If you can give it creativity, if you can give it decision making, if you can give it sensors, can drive a car. I sat in one of those Teslas which are fully self-driving. It's an astonishing experience. But it's not at all conscious. The driver who controls it is conscious, if one driver wants to control it. But the self-driving car, the computers, full of computers, none of them are conscious. They can do all of that without being conscious. Why is it so difficult to make AI conscious? Not only difficult, why is it that all the computer programmers and scientists have no idea? You ask them, they have no idea where to begin if they wanted to make it conscious. They have no idea. Which means consciousness and mind are different. Consciousness is different, distinct from mind and brain. Otherwise, it would not be such a difficult problem for AI people to make a machine conscious. All right, I'll leave it there. Next question. While you're adjusting the microphone, let me just put something out there for our consideration. I was asked in a group of philosophers, precisely define the position of Vedanta on consciousness in contrast to the mainstream materialistic reductionist view of consciousness. I said I can do that in 5 negations, in 5 knots. What is consciousness according to Vedanta? Starting from the common sense or the materialist perspective to the Vedantic perspective, 5 knots. Consciousness is not brain, 1. Consciousness is not mind, 2. Consciousness is not many. Not that there are many consciousnesses. According to Vedanta, there is one consciousness. Consciousness is not many. Consciousness is not an object. The 10th man story is not an object. And consciousness is not dual or non-dual. It's not dual. There is nothing other than consciousness. So these 5, each of them is worth thinking, debating. There are books and books that can be written on each of these stages. Not body, or that means not brain. So step 1, not brain, not mind, not many, not an object, not dual or non-dual. Yeah, please go ahead.
Namaste, Swamiji. Madhu, can I do buy one, get one free? 2 questions.
Go ahead.
Okay. The second one might be a silly question. But first question is, when you set the scene, you spoke about dředśya, vivēka, Jnana Yoga, and then about meditation, the Raja Yoga, and then the sweetness of being one with Bhagwan, the Bhakti Yoga. What about the Karma Yoga, Seva Yoga? Where does it sit in here? And the second question is, if everything, when everything is Advaita, everything is one, why the seer and the seen? Why dředśya, vivēka?
Yeah, both good questions. The first question is, you seem to have left out Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga, in the traditional scheme in Advaita Vedanta, comes in at that level of purification of the mind. So the main impurity in our minds is selfishness. Why would that be so? What is its relationship with non-duality? What does selfishness do? What does selfishness mean? I, me, mine. And what do I mean by that I, me, mine? This personality. I'm going to do everything for this I, me, mine. This body, this mind, this personality. All money is for me, and all relationships for my happiness, all knowledge to glorify me, and all power for myself, all achievements, all praise, all Facebook friends and likes for myself. It's I. I am the center of my universe. And that I is this body mind, this person. This is the whole root of the problem according to Advaita Vedanta. Because what we just did, the body is an object, it's a thing. Just like this body is also a thing. It's not me actually. And if I think I am this, then we are asking for a whole world of problems which we have got right now. So this selfishness working towards the aggrandizement of the little being is the root of the problem. And what Advaita Vedanta does is, it says that you are not the body, not the mind. What Karma Yoga does is that start right now, even when you're thinking that you're the body, mind, start right now through selfless action. Volunteer. Give of your time and energy for causes without asking for anything back. That expands us and it purifies us. So Karma Yoga, it purifies the mind. That is the traditional interpretation in Shankara Advaita. Swami Vivekananda takes it to one level, quite another different level. He says even through Karma Yoga, through the purification of the mind, one can attain to the highest spirituality also. Action also can lead through this purification of the mind to the intuitive realization of the self. Okay. Your second question was that if Vedanta is oneness, why the distinction between the seer and the seen? It's a very good question. Notice I said 5 things: not body, not mind, not brain or not body, and then not the mind, not many, and not an object, and not two. So not two means oneness. So if not two, then why did you spend so much time distinguishing between eyes are separate from the object of vision, and the mind is separate from the eyes, and the consciousness is separate. It's all separation, separation, separation. Why did you do that? Because in order to establish oneness, one needs to find out the basis for that oneness. One needs to arrive at the witness consciousness. I said we are working on the principle that the object and the subject are different. But I also said at the end we will abandon this principle. So that part will come a little later, not right now. What you're talking about is non-duality. That non-duality will be established. First of all, one must discover what consciousness is. And that's done by this method. And then we will see what appears to be an object to consciousness is also not apart from consciousness. And they are one with consciousness. That will come next.
Thank you so much.
What's your name?
My name is Lata. While I was waiting, I moved from my original question, because you answered.
No, that's good. We must move like this. Especially, I would encourage everybody to listen to the questions of others. And don't wait for when is my question going to come. Often we are benefited by others' questions and the answers to that. Yes.
So my original question was going to be that you mentioned one of the problems that we have is that we are ignorant. That's why guru or a book or knowledge comes and we can deal with that. And then mind is distracted and we can do practices to focus it. The final one was we are not interested in it. That was my question. Why are we not interested in it? Then you brought the AI, that kind of related, that perhaps why we are not interested is similar to AI, because there is no consciousness in it. Then my mind jumped to, does it have anything to do with the word conscience? So some are conscientious and some are not. And
Yes.
what is that? And how do we create that normal distribution?
In fact, when you said we are not interested in that problem, more than ignorance, more than restless mind, our lack of interest in it, our lack of wanting it, is the real problem in spiritual life. It's not just in the path of knowledge, in any path, in the path of devotion, in the path of meditation, that we don't really want it. That's the real problem. And why do we not want it? It's because of the power of wanting, which is the power of desire. It's already fully engaged in the world out there. We want pleasure of all sorts. We want power, we want achievement, we want to be popular. We are so dependent on the world for satisfying our desires. So our wanting is flowing out to the world in 1,000 different streams. So that collecting that wanting and diverting it towards that ultimate reality. Bhakti works there, devotion. Devotion, see, the path of knowledge comes from the intellect, but path of devotion comes from the heart. And very interestingly, desire also comes from the heart. I want this or that. Now the two cannot exist together. Either you want that ultimate reality or you want the world. The two cannot go together. It goes back to the Bible and to every religious tradition. Genuine spirituality will always tell you, you can't be grossly materialistic and spiritual at the same time. You can't be. It's not possible. Yeah. So, what Jesus said, that you cannot serve God and mammon at the same time. It's the same intuition that spirituality and materialism do not go together. Now, because we are so engaged with the world, that's where, for example, the karma yoga practice comes in. To make ourselves a little larger, not a slave of this one particular body-mind. When we do that, we'll begin to see the wanting of higher things comes. So one must step back from too much of an engagement with the world. That's why it's better to sit in the witness consciousness than in the mind. The mind watches the world, is ever concerned with the world, or with our Facebook status. But the witness consciousness is concerned with the mind. And that's a much better position to be in spiritual life. Right. Thank you.
Answered it perfectly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaskaram, Swami. My name is Sri Devi. As the previous person said, I did get my answer. My question was, what is my response? Not clear? My name is Sri. Better? Okay, my question is, what is my responsibility? And I did understand that Karma Yoga will help me to know my responsibility. But is there a fear that does separate me from knowing more? There is a fear factor also. Is it a detachment to the materialistic world, to the spiritual world? There is a constant conflict.
Yes, I think I understand. Sorry to cut you off, but I think I understand. It's a question of duty. What is my responsibility? What is my duty? And an inner fear of whether I'm being selfish by, doing yoga and meditating, and am I avoiding my responsibilities in the world, in the family, in the job? No, the answer is a very clear no. The reason is this, and here I'm talking about spirituality in general, all paths of spirituality. Spirituality, religion, the higher religion, in the sense of spirituality, is the highest thing in human civilization. That's the point and purpose of all of civilization. To take us from the animal to the human, duties and responsibilities are good. It forces a kind of discipline upon us. But duties and responsibilities can be terribly limiting. Vivekananda says, I'm only paraphrasing, this man, he gets up from the morning till late in the night. His time is spent in, earning and getting and spending. Duty is upon him. And so on, he on and on he goes till he perhaps falls down dead in the street. Because duty is upon him. So this duty is good to elevate the brute into the human. But from the human to the divine, then spirituality. Vivekananda said, do not work as a slave. A slave is forced to do this, a sense of duty. But work as a free person. Working, for example, a volunteer is somebody who works as a free person. Gives because you want to give. And you always give much more than a person who's being paid to do it, because you are giving out of the fullness of your heart. So, spirituality is above duty and responsibility. It does not make you irresponsible. You are actually becoming a much better person and an asset to the whole world. Right?
Thank you.
Just pull that out. Pull this. No. This.
Thank you. Hi, Swami.
Hi.
My name is Kia. You answered most of my questions, but something else came to my mind was, if I'm not the mind and the body, and I heard and read somewhere else in different tradition, which he says, when you pass that, when you recognize that you're not the mind and the body, to become enlightened, all the senses, all sense doors stop working, eyes, ears, nose, and so on. So who is it actually observing that? Who is aware? How we are alive after that? How can we live a normal life after that?
All right. So Kia is asking if I'm not the body and the mind, and I've also read that on your journey to enlightenment, at one point all the senses stop working. You don't see, hear, smell, taste, touch. How are you even alive after that? How does life continue after that? All right. Now let's just clarify a few things. I am not the body, I'm not the mind. But the body and mind are nothing other than me. Think about it. When you're playing the role of, say, an emperor on stage in a theatrical performance, you are not an emperor. It's a role that you're playing. But the role that you're playing as the emperor, that emperor on that stage is nothing other than you, the actor. Another way of putting it is in dreams. When there are people in the dreams, I myself am there in the dream, but the fact is when I wake up, I realize it was not there, it was just imagination in the mind, and I was not that person in the dream. It was just an imagination in the mind. I was sleeping on my bed. But that person in the dream is not apart from me. So the point I'm trying to make here is, be careful when we say I'm not the body, not the mind. The body and the mind, I am also the body and the mind, but I'm something much more than the body and the mind. Just like it's, I am wearing these clothes, I am not these clothes, but I am wearing them. That's also a fact. Now, when you say the mind, the eyes stop seeing and the ears stop hearing, that is at a point in deep meditation. When we inwardize the mind and we stop the external seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting for a time being, when you do meditation, for example, then you calm down the mind itself and stop it from breaking out into thought waves. You are still there. What we did there right now, I am the witness of the world through the eyes, and then the eyes through the mind, and the mind as awareness. And we also did a thought experiment. Suppose the world is not there. Suppose the body is not there. The senses are not there. The mind is not there. You still continue to be that awareness. Yes, you can't see, hear, smell, taste, touch, and all of that. But without you, the awareness, none of these will be experienced. So my answer to your question would be, our real life does not lie in body-mind. You live because you are awareness. And through this awareness, mind, body are all lit up. If the mind, body, senses stop functioning, you will not be able to function in the world. You will not do anything, hear anything, but you are still there. Whereas if that was not there, mind, body by itself would not do anything. It is bereft of light awareness. So that's the thing. Also, this stage of shutting down the functioning of the senses and the mind is helpful in attaining yogic samadhi. It is a powerful step in attaining yogic samadhi. It is a stillness of the mind where the consciousness becomes clear, even when the mind is stopped. However, after that, the mind will again become active. The thing is, after this experience, you will know that I am consciousness with the mind and the body, mind, body, and senses. Before that, I thought, I am this body, mind, senses, this bundle. Yeah, if you insist consciousness, yes, I am also conscious, but I am all of this. But now the paradigm changes. I am consciousness with body, mind. That's what will happen. Body, mind will still come back. World will still come back. It will still continue. So don't be afraid.
Okay.
Or don't be too hopeful that the world will disappear. Yeah. Vedanta is, I'm just translating from what a monk said, Vedanta is not meant for erasing the world. Vedanta is meant for showing you that you are limitless awareness, and then you continue to function in this world happily. The world is not the problem, really. The way it is put in Vedanta, the world is Maya, it is evil, it is a source of suffering. True and not true. Because the enlightened ones, after becoming enlightened, they live in this world. They live in this world. And they claim that they have overcome suffering, even while suffering is going on in the body. So we must attain to that. So that means the world itself, even suffering itself, is not the problem. The problem is our body-mind identification. Our problem is not knowing that we are this limitless awareness. Once we realize we're that limitless awareness, we can continue to happily exist in this world. Continue to be happy in suffering also. You will see that that witness consciousness is free of suffering. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me just, hold on to your question, don't forget. Let me more explicitly draw out the benefit of this. Consider this. How does knowing I am the witness consciousness, how really does it take me beyond suffering? How does it take me beyond suffering? If you deal with suffering, think about how we deal with suffering when I say I am a believing Christian or a Hindu, I believe in God or Muslim. How do I deal with suffering? I deal with suffering by resigning to the Lord. It is your wish. By my devotion and love, I hold on to you. I will suffer through this because I love you, because I surrender to you, I accept it. I accept it through my devotion, through my faith. That's one way. The other way is the yogic way, where the mind is so deeply focused in samadhi, you're actually not aware of the pain. Suppose there's a physical pain. I'm so deeply focused in samadhi, I'm not aware of the world, I'm not aware of the body or the pain in the body. I'm just not feeling it anymore. It's you might call it a spiritual anesthesia. That's through meditation, through a powerful use of the focus of the power of the mind. But what we do here in Vedanta is different. It's not a question of believing and surrendering to God. It's not even a question of avoiding the pain through focus of mind, through meditation. What in Vedanta we do is this. One monk put it this way. Keep things where they belong. In Hindi, he said, Jo jahan ki cheez hai Mahatma ji, usko wahin rehne do. Keep things where they belong. What does it mean? The pain. Where is the pain? In the body, not in consciousness. So somebody says, oh, I'm so worried, I am overweight. I am overweight. Is consciousness overweight? Is consciousness 200 pounds? Or is the body 200 pounds? The body is 200 pounds, not consciousness. So keep the weight, the overweight in the body. And we are not avoiding it. We are not being escapist, but we are being actually true to the facts. It is in the body. I am the awareness which is always lean and fit. It's in perfect shape. The frustration, the unhappiness, the misery, the upset is where? See where you experience it. Where is it? It's in the mind. Don't say, I am upset. Because if you say, I am witness consciousness is not upset. Witness consciousness is the witness of the upset in the mind. In the mind, there is a disturbance. All right, make sure that it stays in the mind. I am all right. And the amazing thing is when you do that, you will see the disturbance in the mind also subsides. It's our identification with the mind which disturbs it further, which prolongs our suffering. So keep things where they belong. In consciousness, what's there? Only consciousness. I am just of the nature of light. See, this light falls on everything in the stage. It falls on the water. Does the light become watery? No. It falls on the cloth, orange cloth. Does the light become orange? No. It falls on a human being. Does the light become a human being? No. You are the light. If it falls on the pain in the body, the light doesn't become painful. You are the light. When it falls and it illumines the misery in the mind, the light doesn't become miserable. In that sense, you are free of the travails of body-mind. Even while dealing with the problems in the body-mind world, much more effectively thereby. Okay.
Thank you, Swamiji. This is Nishit. Thank you for explaining the three stages and the principles to start with. So my question was, I think, partially answered when you talked about dreams. So my question is basically, how do we apply these principles when we are in dream state? So dream state, which I understand is while we are in dream state, our subconscious mind takes control, and that's a gray area. There is no clear distinction, as we explained, as you explained, between the mind and the consciousness. So is it similar to a deep meditative state?
All right. Dream state. But how do we apply it? Don't. Now, there is actually dream yoga. In Tibetan Buddhism, they have developed dream yoga. There was, we have this this beautiful museum in Manhattan, the Rubin Museum. They have a collection of Tibetan art. At one time, they had a dream yoga session. You could select your favorite Tibetan deity, and you have to go in your pajamas, and you can sleep under the deity. Only thing is, once in a while, people in lab coats will wake you up throughout the night. They ask you about your experiences. But anyway, there is dream yoga. But what Vedanta does is, don't try to apply that. If you are the witness consciousness, then where is the waking, where is the dream, and where is deep sleep? In the mind. We will come to it. The d噚śya vivēka will talk about it. It will show you that dreams, waking, and sleeping are all functions of the mind. You are perfectly all right. Yeah. Next.
Thank you, Swami. They call me Christine. I've had 15 general anesthetics.
Yes.
Have you ever had a general anesthetic?
One.
So every time I speak to the anaesthetist, I say to them, I understand you're putting my mind is quietening, my body is quietening, and I always ask them, where is my consciousness going? And I think to myself, if that's as close to death or the transition that we are going to have, what is the point? Because it's just black.
Yes. Not just black. It's completely like as if you're non-existent.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Even time disappears
And
there.
that's what I say to them. I feel like you're making me non-existent.
Yes. And yet here you are, Christine.
Yes.
After 15 general anesthesias. And the Hindu will tell you, you're here after 15,000 deaths. We are masters of dying. We have died so many, many, many times. There's one thing that you need not be afraid of. We are experts at dying. We have died many lifetimes, and here we are. It has not left a scratch on you. You, the witness consciousness. So what seems to be non-existent, what seems to have disappeared is the mind. It is because we are unable to distinguish consciousness from the mind, we think, I have disappeared. But I haven't, obviously, because I'm still here.
But if the witness consciousness is existing in the time
Yes.
of that anesthesia, and that is my ongoing lives, what is the point?
It's like you're waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. So we are waking, we are having all these experiences. In dreams, you have certain experiences. In deep sleep, the closest you get to general anesthesia every day in the night, blank. Deep sleep, it's blank. So the world is presented to us now, here in this form. The world is presented to us as dreams in our sleep. And the world is not presented to us in deep sleep, a blankness. The mind and the world cycle through this presentation and non-presentation. Deep sleep, general anesthesia, follow this carefully. Yeah. Deep sleep, general anesthesia is not an absence of experience. It's an experience of absence. It's an experience of absence.
Correct.
And the more we appreciate this, the more we will be able to understand the difference between consciousness and the mind. It's not so as easy as we did it. It's not as easy as that we can distinguish between mind and consciousness. It's not as easy as that. Well, even if we think we have grasped it, yes, I am the witness of the mind, we haven't. That's still the mind talking. It's not so easy, yes.
Because even in deep sleep, if there's a loud noise, you wake up under anesthesia.
And sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't, even if there's a loud noise. And anesthesia, you don't. It's deeper than deep sleep.
Yeah, it's almost death.
Physical death, close to that.
Yeah.
But consciousness is the witness of that state also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, that's the last question we have got coming up.
Hi. Okay, thank you very much for the talk and the answering the questions. My name is Elisa. And I just wanted to confirm, because when you mentioned that there are three main blockers, one is we are ignorant, so we can gain
knowledge
via knowledge, restless via meditation and yoga practice, and then the interest that we don't want it. Is it via karma yoga, or which
Yes.
other ways is the way that...
True. I was just giving a sort of oversimplified structure of sadhana, spiritual practice. Mm-hmm. 3 levels of problems, 3 levels of solutions. So in traditional Advaita Vedanta, the 3 levels of problems are impure mind in Sanskrit, ashuddha chitta, chitta mala, impure mind, the dirt in the mind, impurities, conditioning in the mind. Then there is restless mind, vikshipta mana. And then there is ignorant mind, ajnana. And the solutions for the 3 are, various practices are there. The solution for impure mind is karma yoga. Karma yoga purifies the mind. The solution for restless mind is yoga or Patanjali yoga, which focuses the mind. And the solution for ignorance, which is knowledge, and knowledge comes from the Vedantic way. But this is the Vedanta structure. Yeah. The structure may differ if you go to different teachers.
Okay.
Yeah. And one powerful way again is bhakti, which also purifies the mind and concentrates the mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we'll bring the session to a close. You'll say, what about the meditation? Next session. We'll postpone. We need people relaxed and ready, so we'll start the next session with a non-dual meditation. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.